Hi, it's me again, Jack. And today I'm gonna tell you what happened after my college girlfriend Giselle dumped me after getting me fired from work. But before anything else, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that notification bell icon to show your support for me. My girlfriend dumped me through a text. And for a while, that really got me depressed. I was under a lot of stress, and I only ever had her to talk to, even if she never actually listened. So, instead, I decided to focus all my attention to school. I decided I was going to show her. I was going to get the best possible grades I could. I was going to show her and my birth parents that I wasn't stupid. So, I doubled down on my studies. I made sure my tutors pushed me and didn't take it easy on me. By graduation, I managed to get grades I never even thought I could. I wasn't top of my class, but I was among the 10 with the highest grades. I was so excited, I wanted to tell Giselle. I wanted to show her that I wasn't dumb, and maybe she would take me back. You're probably thinking I'm being a huge simp, going after a girl who didn't even like me. But at the time, I didn't know that. I really believed she loved me. And so, I hurried to find her just after graduation. I was told she was at a club, partying with her class. I got there still in my toga. I didn't care if people were staring and laughing at me, I just wanted to find Giselle. When I did find her, the reaction she gave me was not the one I was hoping for. Yo, what? What are you doing here? Are you stalking me? Look, I got really good grades. I'm not dumb, Giselle. I wanted to prove that I can do it so you take me back. Are you kidding me? You think I'd take you back? Just because you got good grades. Wow, you're still stupid, Jack. No matter what that piece of paper says. And why are you in a club wearing a toga? You are so dumb. What? Go away, Jack. I never want to see you again. But nothing! Don't you get it? I never liked you. You were just a distraction. I thought you'd be a good sugar daddy because I heard you had $1 million in your bank account. Turned out, you are pretty much useless. In all that time, you only took me to cheap places and you only bought me one bag. One bag! It's ridiculous. You think you can have someone like me for cheap? Now go away. I'm trying to kiss the DJ, and you're being weird and gross. At that, Giselle launched herself up the stage, reached over to the DJ. It was like time stopped for me. I couldn't understand what was happening. And then I felt myself get dizzy. Someone who was dancing in front of me, unaware that I was behind them, suddenly hit me. And the last thing I remember was the back of my head hitting hard against a metal surface. I woke up in a hospital bed, and someone familiar sat beside me. It was the detective I'd hired. I remember thinking how sad my life was that the only one visiting me at the hospital was someone who worked for me. But then, the lady smiled at me and handed me a bunch of envelopes. She leaned over and gave me a kiss on the cheek. You've been in a coma for 3 months. It's all here. I've finished gathering as much evidence as you'll need. I finally caught them talking about what they did. You're gonna see your mom and dad again. Tears ran down my face. After everything that happened, it was finally gonna happen. Before I got out of the hospital, they ran a few tests and told me something weird was happening to my brain. The moments they scanned my skull, my doctors were all surprised that the scan showed an entirely different brain from what I used to have. But since I was pretty much healthy, they let me go. They just told me to call the hospital if I noticed something unusual. And I did. It really was like having someone else's brain. If before I'd taken a good long while to figure out things, after my coma, I could process things in mere seconds. I tried doing puzzles. I tried testing my newfound intelligence on hard math problems. I watched game show episodes, and I knew every single answer in less than a second. I was so confused, but I knew I had to do an IQ test. I never took them again because of the trauma they caused me in my early life. But when I sat down for the test, I didn't feel any fear at all. I was done in 15 minutes, and it only took that long because my hands couldn't write as fast as my brain could think. When they gave me the results, the person who administered and checked the test had to come to my house personally. He told me that it was impossible for them to grade my test because they had never seen anyone get perfect marks on every single area. They then asked me to come to their offices where they introduced me to brain scientists and psychologists. They made me undergo scans and tests, and eventually, they concluded that somehow my newfound intelligence was unquantifiable. Your intelligence! There's no other way to say it! It's limitless! From there, my fame skyrocketed. I was on the news. People were talking about the new Einstein, or the guy who's smarter than Einstein. I knew there was no better time to help my parents. In every interview I went on, I told the news and the magazines what happened to my parents, and I made sure to show all the evidence. I then gave it over to the police, and though they wouldn't listen to the dumb kid who went to them before, they listened to me after I became known as a genius. They investigated the whole thing again and found my parents innocent. My parents' rivals, who were now running the company, were immediately arrested. So did my birth parents for their part in the crime. I hugged my mom and dad the moment they got out of prison. I'm so proud of you, son. I'm so happy we can see you again. My dad ruffled my hair as he hugged me. My mom kissed me so many times on the cheeks as she held my face. You've grown so much. I hope you're not working too hard. I laughed and hugged them both. We drove home, and for the first time in a while, there was more than just me in our house. My dad took me to his company, and as soon as we got there, people cheered for his return. There were so many of them who were still loyal to my dad, even though his rivals tried to fire people who stayed loyal to my family. Dad threw a company-wide party. He took everyone to a massive resort that he bought just for the occasion, and then he gave a speech that surprised everyone. I wanted you all to come here so you could meet my son, and to tell you all that we will be introducing a new hospitality division. This is the first of many hotels and resorts we will acquire. I also want you to know that although I am happy to be your CEO once again, I have decided to step down. A wave of gasps came from everyone. I can confidently say that I have found someone who I can truly trust with our company's legacy. Jack, my son, I know you will bring this company to new heights. Consider this resort to be my gift to you. This place will be the beginning of a new era for McLaren Holdings. From that day on, I was CEO. I used the new intelligence I'd gained to come up with ways to push the company to even more success. I used the experience I had to turn our first resort into a sought-after destination. I personally trained all our staff to provide only the best service. And when we were ready, we acquired more hotels. The first one I bought was the billionaire's hotel I used to work for. And the first thing I did when the sale was final was walk into my old boss's office. She jumped up from her seat in surprise. It's you! What are you doing here? How dare you? Didn't I tell you never to show your face in here again? Guards! But when the guards came in, they did a quick bow to me. Then, they proceeded to take my old boss away. What? What's happening? Why are you taking me? I'm your boss. Take him. He's trespassing. He's some poor beggar who used to clean the floors here. What are you doing? Let go of me. I laughed. Fine, guards. Let her go. I've changed my mind. You can keep your job, but only on the condition that you do everything I say. The guards let go of her. Who do you think you are? And why are you stupid idiots doing what he says? One of the guards finally said, That's the guy who owns the hotel. Are you stupid? I can't even begin to describe the look on her face. If she could have, she would have quit. But my old boss was a big fan of overspending, and so she was in a lot of debt. I gave her a cleaner's uniform and made sure her days were spent on toilet duty. One other thing I really wanted to do was buy a club. The club that Giselle's DJ boyfriend played at. I bought it with cash. And that night, after it was transferred to my name, I went in with all my bodyguards and a bunch of girls who I was friends with. People immediately parted and made way. I made sure to dress as luxuriously as I could. Giselle immediately saw me. She greeted me as if nothing had happened, and then she tried to get me away from my friends. Loud enough so that even her DJ boyfriend could hear, she said, "You'll take me back, right? I saw you on the news. I hear you're filthy rich now. You're sure to take me back, right? I'm only dating him to make you jealous, you know. He's dumb as a rock. Besides, it was your fault we broke up." I chuckled and looked at her with pity. "No, Giselle. I only came here to have fun with my friends and celebrate buying this club." You bought the club?" "Yeah, and I wanted to tell my new DJ to keep up the good work and that I don't blame him." It was so satisfying seeing the bouncers taking Giselle away as she shouted and begged me to take her back. The DJ and I became best of friends, and by the end of that year, I'd grown the business so much that we were able to buy 3 more clubs and 2 resorts. And Giselle? She was banned from going to any of them.